Hi, I'm Colin Teubner, Product Manager for the analystView product at Global 360, and today I'll be talking about why modeling and simulation are critical to your BPM efforts. Let's start with the reasons why simulation is important to your business process management efforts. At the end of the day, it's really about process improvement and driving continuous process improvement through simulation. And there's a couple of reasons why simulation helps you to do that. The first is it allows you to calculate activity and process costs so you understand the costs of your process over time. That allows you to build ROI cases and prove the ROI of a planned process improvement effort. And then comes the continuous part, where you can actually evaluate the impacts of planned changes on your process, find out how they'll affect your bottlenecks in your process, your overall workload, and the cost of doing business within the business process you're working on improving. So let's get started. One of the best things in Visio 2010 is the way they've increased the ease of use and efficiency of actually drawing a process model and make sure that their models conform to a standard that everybody's using together. They've also, within the BPMN template, added a lot of ease of use features. It's very easy to add shapes to the model without actually having to drag connectors onto the map. And so modeling is very efficient, much more efficient than it ever has been in Visio before. There's other features like self-healing connectors, so when you drag a new shape onto the map, it's automatically added and the connectors are broken up. And there's an auto-align and space button that will automatically lay out your map for you, as well as the ability to change the layout of the map just at a click of the button. Once you've created a BPMN diagram, the new Visio includes a validation framework. These BPMN rules are provided by Microsoft to help people validate their diagrams against the BPMN standard. And at Global 360, we've created our own simulation rules that are in the same validation framework provided by Visio. If I uncheck these simulation rules, you'll see that this diagram is valid BPMN, and we'll get a message showing that it is. We've also got all of the great new features of the Office 2010 ribbon environment, so it's very easy to apply designs or themes to a process model. And the integration in Office 2010 with SharePoint has also been extended to Visio. If we look at the Save to SharePoint menu, we're given a list of all of the SharePoint locations for storing processes, and SharePoint 2010 has its own process repository features as well. It'll be much easier for business analysts to have standardized models that are validated against the standard. So now let's look at our simulation and optimization capabilities in the analystView product. We've taken a lot of steps to make simulation accessible to any business analyst by bringing it to a familiar environment, Visio, and also by providing setup assistant features that will walk people through each individual part of creating a simulation scenario on top of their Visio model. Let's take a look at an already created simulation model and some of the information that goes into that model while preparing it for simulation. First, we have the actual model itself, and you can see here on the right side of the screen the setup assistant, which actually walks us through each step in creating the information in the simulation scenario. We've already created our model, so we can just validate it, and we'll get a green check mark on the simulation model there. Now we create resources, and in the resources we have roles, participants, and schedules, which are just what they sound like. The participants are the people that actually do the work in the process, and we can set up their hourly rates to track the costs of activities, as well as the schedules, which indicate which times the participants are available to tackle work in the simulation. When we set up our activities one by one, each activity has a specified duration. We use statistical functions to determine how long the activity will take and also assign different performers to the activities. This one is tackled by the data entry role. Then we also define arrivals, which are the batches of work actually coming into the process. Here we have several different types of insurance claims flowing in, and depending on the type of claim, life, dental, or health, they have different randomized amounts for the claims. Those claim amounts are actually tracked in the simulation statistics as well. And the sizes of the batches are determined by a statistical function also. So we're ready to simulate. Let's click Run and see how the simulation performs. As the simulator runs, we get live updated statistics that show you how the simulation is performing, where your bottlenecks are in your process, and which of your workers are the most and least used. Once the simulation scenario completes, we'll be able to optimize this simulation using the automatic optimize function. So let's click Optimize, And there's a couple of different scopes you can optimize against. You can optimize the entire process, a time sequence, which is a subset of the process, or an SLA that you have defined. Let's try to optimize against our SLA, which determines that the research step of the process must take 1 day or less. In our current simulation run, this SLA was met 95.8% of the time, which meant there were 36 instances where we missed that SLA. The optimizer is telling us that the research activity work spends 74.9% of its time waiting at that activity. So we're going to need more resources for that activity. There's a number of people who don't work on the researcher role, which is the people that actually complete that research activity. And so this screen allows us to cross-train participants. William is only 30% utilized in his normal job processing health claims, and so we can assign him to also work on the research task, and that should alleviate the resource problem. The other thing you can do to alleviate the resource problem is to clone your existing resources in the researcher department, but since we already tackled that with the cross-training of William, we don't need to do that in this step. So when we click Finish on the Optimizer wizard, the new simulation scenario will automatically run with the different parameters, and we can see a side-by-side comparison in our simulation performance. We're already seeing a lower weight ratio as work flows through the process. And we're seeing the utilization of William go up quite a bit since he's now working on research tasks as well as claims. And if we look at our SLA statistics, you'll see that now only 30 of the items instead of 36 of the items were not in time for our SLA. So what we've seen is with the ease of use features in Visio 2010 and the reduced learning curve in analystView, we're bringing the ability to participate in continuous process improvement and apply powerful simulation technology to all business analysts. To learn more about Visio 2010 or analystView, visit the Visio website or the Global 360 website. We'll also be releasing a library of training materials on BPMN and simulation.